Hello students, good morning to all of you. Students, from today we start class 11 physics unit 1, that is units and measurement. Okay, basically in physics, first what is the nature of physics? So basically the nature of physics is the study about the nature and the natural phenomena. Okay, some small theoretical portion you will learn from your NCERT book, that about the physics and its scientific methods, like uh, the scientific method of science involved 6 steps, uh, like observation, then reasoning on the observation, then after controlled experiment, then after its mathematical modeling, and then the verification, and last point is the falsification. Okay, then in that you also learn that the thrust areas of physics, which are basically the unification and the reduction. In the unification we learn the various natural phenomena by using one or minimum laws. This is basically known as the unification. And next we have that uh, reduction. Second thrust area is reduction. In reduction we learn the complex phenomena or laws by using the steps or small processes. So after that you will get here the relation of physics and the name of scientist in your book, which give the important invention and the discovery and their role about the particular invention. So these are some small things which you learn by yourself. Then after you find here that the natural forces and fundamental forces in the nature, and the fundamental conservation laws of the nature, natural laws of conservation. Here we have the fundamental forces four fundamental forces, in which first we have the electrostatic force, second gravitation force, null force. Next we have the weak nuclear force, and last is strong nuclear force. Okay, these we have some fundamental forces in the nature. These two are short range forces. Okay, and found basically in the atoms, or molecules. Okay, so we left with the two forces. One is electrostatic, second is gravitational force. Always remember that the gravitational force is related to the free fall situation. free fall conditions. Okay, free fall condition like an object is always drop down towards the ground or towards the surface, and if a particle is thrown vertically upward, you will observe that after a certain distance it will be retained towards the surface. Okay, so the reason behind explained by explained by the Newton, and after that Newton give the related particular situation is gravitational law of universal law of force, which is known as gravitational force. ठीक है. So after that, any force you will find in the nature like friction, viscosity, surface tension, okay, involving in pressure, cohesive force, adhesive force, etc. All are basically the electrostatic force. So this is actually the unification of different kind of forces which can be explained on the behalf of the electrostatic force, and you'll know about the electrostatic force, which is equal to Fe is C, or you can say C Q1 Q2 upon R square, and this force is Fg, which is a gravitational force, G M1 M2 upon R square. As you find the nature of the two forces, F is inversely proportional to R square and Fg also inversely proportional to R square. So we can say that these are the inverse square law. Therefore, these are inverse square law. Inverse square laws. Okay. Now, it is observed also that for a gravitational force, you will learn in your previous 9th class that the force are acted in a straight line, and they are acted for the particular body center to center, having with center O and O dash, having a certain distance between them. This distance is infinitely large and too small. Okay. On the behalf of its nature, as the distance will increase, the force between the quantity will decrease, and another thing is, as the distance will decrease, the force between the two quantities, whatever it is a charge or whatever it is a mass body, okay, the force will too large or extremely large. Okay. So these are about the two forces. On the behalf of, we can define or explain various different forces by one law, that is unification. Okay. The opposite process is reduction. Suppose you will discuss or you want to know about the production of electricity. Okay. As you all we all have in our house electricity as in the form of electrical energy. Okay. Electrical energy. Okay. So how the electricity is produced or electrical energy is produced? So we can split it into the small processes. Like initially, first we have We will discuss about the different phenomena. First, I will just explain you about steam chamber or production of electricity by uh, producing huge stream. Suppose you have a steam chamber. Just understood. Okay, steam chamber, and second is give heat by burning of coal, give heat to the chamber by burning of coal, burning of coal, due to burning of coal uh, with water in container. Okay, steam chamber, we have a container filled with water, then after heat given by burning of coal, then after some time water boil in the chamber, water boils, boiled, and steam produce, and steam produce. Okay, then after in the fourth process the steam is transferred to the turbine of a generator. Steam is transfer or transmit to a turbine of AC generator. Okay, when the turbine is rotates, the generator will start and we get the electricity. Electricity is produced. Or we say electrical energy. Is produced. Okay, so this is how the production of electricity is explained on the behalf of the small processes, and this is the process to learn physics in small processes. Okay, this process is reduction, reductionism, and this is unification. Okay, then after we have just note it. Okay, next we have in the physical world is fundamental uh, laws of conservation. Laws of conservation. Okay, we have four laws. Four laws, which are, first we have conservation of energy, or we can say law of conservation of energy. Energy. Second, we have law of conservation of mass. Of mass. Third, we have law of conservation of momentum. We have two types of momentum. One is linear momentum. When a particle is moving uh, along a straight line, and another is angular momentum. Okay, when a particle is moving along a circular path. Okay, and last we have fourth is law of conservation of charge. Of charges. Okay, these are the four fundamental basic laws of conservation in the nature. As you all know, the energy is not be created and nor be destroyed. It can only change in one form to the another form. Similarly, uh, a matter has mass and it not be destroyed. It will also convert in one form to the another form. Okay, next we have the linear conservation law of momentum. To understood about the linear momentum, suppose we have a isolated system and initially its mass is m and it is moving with a velocity v. Okay, then uh, after some time it obstruct or hit an object and split in 2 points or 2 parts. Let's say one part have the mass m1 and other part have the mass m2, and if m1 is greater than m2, which means m1 is part 1 is heavier than the another, therefore it is very clear the velocity is different for the two situations. Then the initial momentum is m into v, and after the splitting the momentum is first for one m1 into v1 and for second m2 into v2. We observe that when we add the momentum after the splitting, the sum of the momentum of the two particles due to collision they split is equal to the initial momentum. This is basically the conservation of linear momentum. Similarly, we can define angular momentum also, but the laws of momentum first is linear and angular momentum we learn in the unit 3 and unit 4, and this part laws of conservation of charges we learn in the next class, which is 12, and here the three laws we learn in this particular class 11. Okay, so these are some basic rules of physics and the thrust areas on which we learn the physics. Okay, okay, now just note it. Okay, next we move to our topic units and measurement. So basically the measurement is required to compare the things by one another in the specific form. Okay, so first, what is need of measurement? Okay, so for a precise description of any such phenomena or measurement, which we learn in the physics, the quantities are involved. For example, length, mass, time, uh, area, volume, velocity, acceleration, displacement, energy, force, etc., etc. Okay, so we need to describe the particular physical quantity with its special unit. Basically, the unit is the process to compare the physical quantity in its different measuring system. Okay, so first we understood about the physical quantity. Okay, so physical quantity is one which can be measured, and in term of which the physical uh, in term of which the physical laws are described, is called basically a physical quantity. For example, length, mass, time, force, etc. are the physical quantities. So how a physical quantity is represented? For mathematically, really, a physical quantity is represented as Q for physical quantity, or we can say physical quantity is equal to numerical value into unit. That is, physical quantity we use a symbol Q, numerical value is N, and its unit is U. This is basically a physical quantity we represent. Okay, if we take a physical quantity as length, if length is a physical quantity, okay, and it is measured in this different system, and it is measured in different system. Okay, like in meter or in kilometer. Okay, so we can compare the two systems of measuring length like that. Okay, because we have taken here length as a physical quantity, and it is measured in the two different things, which means the quantity is constant. Okay, quantity is constant. This concept is clear. If the quantity is constant, then we use the product of its numerical value and different unit as N1 U1 equal to N2 U2 and so on. How many of the systems? Here we have the two systems. Okay, so just simple denominations. We have 1 kilometer is equal to 1000 meters. Okay, so we can simply define as 1 meter, which means numerical value, and unit of the length is meter, in kilometer, so much kilometer. So here we can write that 1 and the value of kilometer is 10 to the power 3 meter. This is actually how we compare the two systems of unit, okay, of a same physical quantity. It is clear to you? Here it is also a remarkable thing that if we compare the two units like numerical value n1 upon n2, then we get u2 upon u1. Okay, so if we compare it like that, so we get numerical value is inversely proportional to u. This is an important markable thing here, that as the unit is bigger, the numerical value is smaller, and as the unit is smaller, the numerical value will be bigger. Clear? So today we just discussed till this point, and the next lecture we understood about the systems of unit and some fundamental unit. Then we will start about the measuring process. Thank you.